So welcome to Tea Time with Lily, where we basically talk about life in general and different topics that, I don't know, you guys want to know about, you guys want to hear about, or simply stuff that I want to talk about. Because I'm the owner of this channel, thus I choose what I want to talk about. But anyways, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. The flower that I have on my head is massive, but it's cute, so we are keeping it. So first and foremost, this video is not a story time video, meaning that I'm not gonna talk about specific events, maybe as an example, but I'm not here to give you a story time about my year in Japan. I will eventually probably make a video about it, like when it's New Year, to make a recap of my year, but as of now, this is just basically more of a review, again from my perspective, from my experience. Japan is the wet dream of many people out there, and it's a very popular destination to many out there. As far as I've noticed, online you mainly see the romanticized review of the country, the romanticized view of the country, but again, I am here to talk through the perspective of someone who is more middle class, if not financially broke. So obviously the opinion from someone who has money and the opinion from someone who has just enough money to basically afford living is very different. Like, I know that some people throughout a year in Japan would have visited most of Japan because they have the means to afford it. I do not have the means to afford it, and also because my husband is employed, we do not have the time to do that. People who have money, people who are more financially stable, can experience more things in Japan. Because let's be for real, cash is very important in this life, and you can experience many things thanks to cash. Simple enough, transport costs money, so you gotta, be well off to certain degrees in order to be able to, for example, I don't know, travel from Tokyo to Osaka. If you wanna, I don't know, try many touristic destinations or go to amusement parks, go to events, etc. So just getting that out of the way from the beginning. My camera is doing the same thing that it did the day that I was filming the Q&A video, where it overheats and stops recording, so I literally needed to go and get an ice pack and to just put it in the back so that I could record at once, because this is gonna take hours at this point. So let's get into the topic. So I'm not gonna say bad things or negative aspects about living in Japan. It's more like difficult things that could be a bit hard to deal with, etc. So I'm going to start with the difficult aspects so that we end the video on nice terms. So again, if you want to keep your fantasies about Japan, if you want to keep, your wet dream truthful, then this might not be the video for you, and it's better to, just stop right here or skip to the nice part. I'm gonna make a timestamp, so you do you. Not coming here as a tourist, but specifically living in Japan. So first of all, the language barrier. So you don't need to speak Japanese in order to live here or to come as a tourist, but it's definitely recommended to know a certain level of Japanese. And I would say that reading, unfortunately, is an important aspect if you want to have an easier life here. Thankfully, technology has evolved and we have the Google Translator and the Google Lens to help you, but God forbid you might have a situation where you need to have your phone with you and you forgot it at home and you're by yourself, then it might be difficult. For instance, 3 weeks within me living here, my husband got ill and we needed to take him to the emergency room, and I didn't have my phone with me. and everything in the hospital was in Japanese, and I've never felt that useless in my entire life because I did not understand anything. I couldn't even fill in the forms. Right now I can like write and understand like at a better extent, but in the beginning I still knew nothing, and it was definitely devastating for me. So if you find yourself in a harsh situation where you need to understand like a certain level of Japanese or read at certain extents, then yeah, it might be difficult. The same counts for like ingredients and components and stuff like that. In countries in Europe or even in Tunisia, you tend to find at least 2 languages in packages, but it's not the same in Japan. It's going to be mostly in Japanese, so it might be a bit difficult. Healthcare. So healthcare has been a little bit difficult for me. So I was a healthy, energetic kid, and well, shit happens in life, and turns out that I have a problem when it comes to the neurological department, and me and the neurological department in Japan are not friends at all, because it's almost been a year and I still haven't gotten proper answers on what to do with my existence and on what to do with my life overall. So I have to say that it is a very advanced country, but I don't know, you're gonna have a lot of going back and forth before getting your answers. So I'm basically just giving you a friendly warning to not come with a stereotype that Japan is significantly advanced and that you will have, your answers immediately. I'm not looking down at the medical field and I'm not calling out anyone, but some problems might require a lot of time. So bear with that. And again, going back to the language barrier, the doctors most likely only speak Japanese. So if you don't speak Japanese, if you don't understand Japanese, you're gonna need someone with you. So my other problem with healthcare is that it's pretty expensive in comparison to Europe and in comparison to Tunisia. In comparison to the US, the healthcare system is a lot cheaper and some medication costs a lot. So Japan has a very different system when it comes to social security and insurance and things like that. If you're coming to Japan and planning on living here, then you should have some savings. Because God forbid, if you have a medical emergency and you don't have enough money, then you're pretty much screwed. So I have to give you a fair warning about that. So there's that. For people here who are coming to study, tuition is awfully expensive in Japan. Again, in comparison to Europe, Tunisia. In comparison to the US, you have nothing to waste because the educational system in the US is already really expensive, or in the UK too, so it's not going to feel like it's shocking. But for people who have lived in Europe or in Tunisia, then it's gonna be awfully shocking, and you've gotta have some stocks, There is a myth that if you work in Japan, you are gonna be really highly paid, and as I said, it's more of a myth than reality. Here, you get paid decently if you work a lot. So if your goal is to make stonks, if your goal is to save money for your future, or if your goal is to have, money to travel, to enjoy life at its fullest, then Japan might not be the best place for you to work. And the opinion is a bit different from if you're coming here when you're single or if you're married. If you're coming here as a couple or if you're coming here as a single person, it's going to be different. Obviously, if you're single, then you're gonna have a lot of spending money for your own. If you're a couple, then you have to bear in mind that life as a couple is a bit more expensive, and if you have a child, then even more. So there is that. And so some of you guys might have heard about this, but there are apartments that are not foreigner friendly. There are apartments that will not allow you to rent a place if you are a foreigner. So be ready for that. Or there are apartments that will allow you to live in the apartment under the condition that you have a specific level in Japanese. So you have to be ready for that too. The fee might be relatively expensive. A lot of people post those videos about like rural Japan and like filthy cheap places, but you have to bear in mind that those places need a lot of renovation, and there is like taxes behind that as well. So don't take that for granted and do your research. Ask people who live here. It's not rocket science. Do your research. I mean, you're gonna buy a place that has been abandoned for years, a place that has been constructed God knows when. Obviously it's gonna have a lot of things you're gonna need to fix, which means that you're gonna need a lot of money in return to fix that. And also, rural Tokyo is not really the best place to live if your objective, for example, is obviously to live in the center. So you're gonna need, a car to drive around, or else you're gonna be thrown in the middle of nowhere. And yeah, balance between salary and the cost of life. So yeah, it's not very balanced, which is a common issue all over the world right now due to inflation, due to the current world situation. So I'm not gonna drown on this point, but just giving you a friendly warning about that. Loneliness seems to be a common problem for foreigners or even residents living in Japan. A lot of people have a problem making friends, a lot of people have a problem just making significant bonds. And if you are settled in Europe or Africa or the US, you gotta be prepared that you're gonna be away from your friends and family, and that you might have issues with loneliness. If you're gonna tell me that, oh, I don't have friends, I don't care about family, etc., I'm fine with loneliness, well, even people who are introverted might have an issue with loneliness at some point. So I'm just giving you that friendly warning. There are many videos about that. I could make a video myself about it, but I just have to put the points there. The weather, so I have to give you a friendly warning that summer in Japan is very hot and humid, so if you have sinusitis problems, then good luck with that. And as of spring, you have hay fever and yellow sand. For me, I have no problem with hay fever, but yellow sand was definitely an experience. So you better brace yourself for that. Summer isn't just about, summer festivals and, the pretty aesthetic videos. It's about dying with heat and humidity. As of spring, it's not about cherry blossoms and spring sweets, etc. It's also about hay fever and yellow sand. So be prepared for that. Food issues. So there might be some people who cannot eat specific meats. There are some people who are vegan or vegetarian, and sometimes, let's take instant noodles for example. You want to go buy a vegetable instant noodle and it has pork in it. Pork is a key ingredient. It's like the ingredient X for Japan. It's there in so many foods. Same for gelatin. So be careful with that and good luck with that. Thankfully though, in Japan there is content which is like seaweed, gelatin in a way, and I love it. You can find it in most traditional sweets, so at least you know that you are safe with that. And yeah, sometimes there is a list of allergens that tells you there is this, that and that. Be careful, sometimes even the whole allergens are not there, so you have to read the whole notice to make sure that one ingredient that you might be allergic to or that you don't want to eat is there. So just, telling you that. Some of you may know about this, some of you may not know about it, so I'm gonna include it, but tattoos are pretty frowned upon over here, and even though it's an archaic view, it still affects Japan till this day. So for example, some onsen beaches, pools, water parks don't allow tattoos. Even if you cover them, even if you do something about them, they just simply don't allow it. So I have to put it out there for you guys. or those who may be concerned about it. Anyways, honestly, there are more things that could be mentioned, but I don't want to make this video as long as the Q&A one. I have already teased, important aspects, like the most important parts, like I think that healthcare, jobs and stuff like that already talks about this, so I tried to talk about the major aspects. So this is a bonus round before moving on to like positive aspects. I have to give a fair warning to the ladies, but sexual harassment in transport is common. For me, I've already been there way too many times, but it's still shocking that a country that's relatively safe still has this issue. Stalking as well, and like Nampa, so being picked up. So I have to, give you a fair warning about that. Even though it's a relatively safe country, like I'm briefly mentioning this point. And now let's move to the bright aspects. For people who have been waiting for me to talk about, the positive things to look forward to about coming to Japan. I'm bugging, oh my god. Okay, so number one, there is always something new to discover, whether it is about food, whether it is about places. Even people who have lived here still have a lot of things to discover about Japan, so you never really get bored. I mean, PewDiePie already mentioned this in his own video, like talking about his own review about Japan for the year that he's been living here. So getting bored isn't, an issue. You always have something new to discover. I mean, even the simplest things, again, for homies like me who are broke, food. Japan loves to come with like seasonal flavors, seasonal snacks, so there is always something new to discover, so you won't get bored. There is, always something going on, so you don't have to worry about boredom. Number two, Japan is very practical. For example, I don't know. Again, I'm always mentioning the simplest details, I guess because I'm a simple person overall, and also because, well, I don't know, we did not have these things where I lived, so it's life-changing, it's mind-blowing, so I have to mention them. Something like bentos, like lunch boxes, that's very practical. Like sometimes, I don't know, you're busy, you don't have time, you don't have energy, you've been working, you just go buy a bento from the grocery store, from the convenience store, from literally the bento store, and you're good to go. So it's very practical in many aspects. Number three, safety. Japan is a pretty safe country, so if you've lived in a country where you have to worry about, being robbed, where you have to worry about like many things, then yeah, you don't have to worry about that over here. It's a nice atmosphere. If you're looking for nature, there is, the like beautiful nature in Japan. If you're looking for like, I don't know, the amazing city, then it's there, like, I don't know, Shinjuku, Shibuya, Harajuku, and overall. So it depends on your taste, etc. Everyone minds their own business, which might not be a given. Like, in a lot of countries, we struggle with like people honestly not minding their own business, like, I don't know, if you wear something unusual, or if you're just there walking, existing, and they're like looking at you, like talking about you and all. Here, most people mind their own business. I have to admit though that going to Harajuku in Decorah might attract a lot of attention, especially from foreigners, but overall you can wear whatever the hell you want and everybody like minds their own business. So some people might look at this as a bad thing, and some people might look at it as a good thing, depending on your environment and depending on your view. So last but not least for this video is second-hand stores, which is my best friend, because not only are they nice for the environment, but they are very budget friendly. So if you're broke and I don't know, you wanna hoard stuff, you wanna buy weave stuff, you wanna get, you know, some clothing, some kitchenware, some house stuff, then they are definitely a lifesaver. Thrift stores and, you know, dollar stores are definitely a really good thing, and you can get so many amazing things throughout, you know, thrift stores. I already made a video talking about secondhand stores in Japan. The link is up here. This time I'm putting my finger in the right place for the info card, but yeah. Oh, my sinus is dying again. If you want details, shameless promo to my video, it's up there. Living in Japan comes with, you know, advantages and disadvantages. It's like any country. And again, it depends on your objectives. Like, if you're a weeb, you are, I don't know, into Japanese culture. If you, I don't know, just like Japan, like for no specific reason, but you want to be here. If you're, you know, into fashion, my opinion in Japan is perhaps very different from those videos that you see online, because a lot of those people have enough money to afford like traveling, to afford doing a lot of things. Their work also allows them to like do a lot of things, have holidays, because one more thing is that a lot of salarymen out here don't have holidays or barely have any, so it's very short holidays. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tea time with me. I will see you for more tea time sessions another time. I hope that this video has been useful to you, and all I can say is honestly do your research, think about your objectives, think about what you want in life, think about your long-term goals, etc., and then do whatever you want to do. I'm not here to babysit you. I'm not here to tell you what to do or what to not do. I'm just giving you my own personal opinion through my own personal experience and all of that. So yeah, I'm also not gonna get way too personal. I'm not gonna give you like, you know, juice. I'm just here to try to give you, you know, an honest and reasonable review. So I hope you liked this video, and I will see you next time for more. So yeah, stay safe, take care, stay hydrated, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. Well, that's gonna be a pain in the ass to edit, isn't it? It's always like this for my videos. It's the editing, man. It's the subtitles. I don't know what to say. What do you expect me to say? I already said all that I have to say. I'm just dehydrated. Kinda hungry too. Get out of here. What are you waiting for? Are you waiting for me to do something funny? No, get out. Bye.